That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here. And welcome to the third installment of a brand new Imagineering game show. That's right. It is Disney Movies The Ride, featuring the dreaded, the terrible Wheel of Fox. But don't worry, Wheel of Fox is taking a break this episode. Instead, we're getting the Wheel of Package films this time around. It's going to be 6 different package films from the Walt Disney feature animation wartime years. We're going to be taking a look at Saludos Amigos, The Three Caballeros, Fun and Fancy 3, Melody Time, and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. In this corner is the champion of the first Disney Movies The Ride. It is Mickeyfan 5534. How you doing, Mickeyfan?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Actually, you were the champion of the second one, not the first one. My bad.
Can we really call it like a champion after we've only had 2?
All right, you know what? Let's not have this conversation. All right, you know what? And in this corner is me, Tiki, and I'm actually stepping into the ring for the first time on this show, even though I invented the format, so this should be interesting. All right, and let's go roundtable with the judges. Of course, you know him, you love him. He's got opinion, he's got sass, and he's a big Muppet entrepreneur. It is Sandy Claus. How you doing, Sandy?
Oh, great! I've got opinion and I've got sass. That's a first.
Yeah. In this corner, he'll go along with the flow until the flow tells him to stick to his guns. It's Jacob Weil.
Hello, everybody.
And in this corner, look out for Spider Noir, because Spider Noir is not the only hard-boiled film noir detective in town who's going to judge your opinions harshly. It's Blue Dragon 5 who does these intros better than me. How you doing, Dragon?
I'm well.
Honestly, I thought your first intro was gonna be about dragons.
All right, guys, so let's not waste any time. Let's get into these movies. Mickeyfan, do you understand the rules as I have set forth? We'll be doing 90-second pitches, followed by 45-second rebuttals. It's going to be an all-speed round, all-the-time version of Disney Movies The Ride, just to essentially crack out 6 of these things in a short amount of time. You ready to go? You raring to go?
I'm as ready as I can be.
All right, let's refer to the Wheel of Package films here. And first of all, we actually want to refer to the wheel of, I don't know, the wheel of flipping a coin and having like a 50-50 shot, because I have Mickeyfan written down on this wheel 2 times, myself written down on this wheel 2 times. The winner is going to determine who goes first. Let's see who that is. Mickeyfan. Oh, wait, no, it's Tiki.
Okay, Tiki, just to go over the little pointer thing's on the left, and when it lands on there, okay.
All right, gotcha. And let's see if it comes up with anything besides Melody Time.
I gotta tell you, I have a bad feeling about this wheel.
Wheel of Package films, turn.
Well, what do you know? It came up with something besides Melody Time.
Okay, we're all good.
Okay.
Probably the worst of the package films.
Yeah, that's my favorite of the package films. Well, then again,
is it really?
Well,
Fun and Fancy Free is your favorite of the package films?
With
it has Mickey and the Beanstalk.
When I keep forgetting that we also have Ichabod, so that said, I guess I can't say it's my favorite. But you're right. The point is that like Fun and Fancy Free and Ichabod are my favorites.
Ichabod's probably the best one of them.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go first for the shock and awe of it all, because I have kind of a shocking pitch here. You guys ready?
Fun and Fancy Free, all right. Okay.
So we all expect Fun and Fancy Free. The obvious thing to do here is going to be Mickey and the Beanstalk as a dark ride. And I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm going to be doing an attraction with a fake out. Basically, it looks like you're going through a Fun and Fancy Free dark ride and you think, oh, it's going to be Mickey and the Beanstalk. But no, it's going to be Bongo instead. Now, one of the weirdest, most memeable scenes about Bongo is the scene where all the bears are slapping each other to show affection. And you're just riding around and you're just like, what the hell is going on? This is so odd that these bears are just slapping each other. And then, much like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the screen opens. You go from the cartoon world into the real world, and oh my God, it's Charlie McCarthy. And Charlie McCarthy is following you around this house of horrors, puppet marionette shit show. Meanwhile, you're trying to get to Mickey and the Beanstalk. There's screens playing Mickey and the Beanstalk. You see animatronics of Mickey and Donald and Goofy like waving to you from the windows, but you can never get there. You can never get to Mickey and the Beanstalk because of this incessant Charlie McCarthy thing. And so basically you go through the whole ride being chased by Charlie McCarthy in kind of like this weird Haunted Mansion style aesthetic. And then at the very end, you go through a minor, very small Mickey and the Beanstalk dark ride section. Happy ending, the end.
Wow.
All right, Mickeyfan, beat that.
What the fuck did I just hear? All right, so the obvious choice is to do Mickey and the Beanstalk. So why not go full in on it? But instead of it just being a beat for beat retelling of Mickey and the Beanstalk, why don't we do something different with it? Why don't we make this like an opening day Disneyland Fantasy dark ride where you're in the role of Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, and you're in this giant world, and you're just going through it. Go up the Beanstalk, you see the Giant's castle, and you're just going through all these rooms, and you're exploring the entire thing. And you eventually get to an encounter with Willie the Giant, and he just kind of, in a reference to Snow White, he just kind of picks you up and throws you to the ground, and then you die. I said it was a tribute to the old Disneyland Fantasyland dark rides.
Wow.
That's true. That's true. Think Mr. Toad. You got to think Mr. Toad there. All right, 45-second rebuttal. Okay. 45-second rebuttal there.
Oh, boy.
I feel like even with the fake out death, yours does have a more classic Fantasyland vibe to it. But I'm not going for classic Fantasyland here. I'm trying to emulate the actual style of the film it's based on. And the film it's based on is weird as hell. Have you watched it recently? The interludes, the bongo sequence that no one remembers but has really bizarre sequences to it. I just think there's a treasure trove of just like making a weird head scratcher of a ride that would go down for like, oh my God, this is really something. This is really emulating how odd it is to actually watch the movie or watch the movie that this attraction is based on and get a lot more people to check out this weird oddity of a film.
But before I start my rebuttal, can we just appreciate Pearl's comment right here? Only Disney can end a ride with, and then you die.
Pretty much. Nice to see you, Big Pearl.
All right, so I like where you're going with it, with your concept, but it really doesn't feel like anything Disney would do, and it might capture how weird Fun and Fancy Free is, but it doesn't. It feels super disjointed. You start out with your front half of bongo and the bear slapping each other, and then you move to the haunted house of ventriloquist dummies. Those two just don't go with each other, and it's not as cohesive as sticking to one story.
Time. All right, we're gonna go alphabetical here. I'm gonna throw it to Dragon.
Oh boy, where to start? Really? I think you're both out of your minds, if I'm being frank here. But let me
Thank you.
let me start with that. You both are cuckoo bananas. But all right, okay. So, all right, I guess feedback time. Okay, Tiki, you really had me at the start there. Dark Ride. We're starting with Bongo. We're going through the experience. You had your Edgar Bergen in there. And unfortunately, I think you really went off the rails with the Edgar Bergen stuff. I think you were on the right track, and then that track just it went through a little pocket dimension just opened up, and then you just kind of got lost.
Yeah, it was
in there.
kind of a weird pocket dimension movie. Thank you. That's what I was going for.
Anyway, Mickeyfan, on the other hand, again, he's kind of going a little straightforward with the Mickey and the Beanstalk pitch. Again, not trying to go beat for beat, kind of exploring the castle. And his started off pretty good. And then you die. So you see why this one's going to be a little hard to just. I think you're both out of your minds on this one. I think you're both just kind of you started strong and then you dive bomb. So you both suck this round, if I'm being frank a little bit. But I mean,
it's up for some who
And Then You Die is a classic ending to many Disney rides.
yes, because when I go on a Disney ride, you know what's nice? The promise of sudden death. You know that just speaks. Tinkerbell going over.
Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad, Snow White.
I'm sorry. Are we at the
Haunted
Mr. Toad round
Mansion.
yet? Are we? And are you taking up for
God.
your opponent on this one, Mister?
No,
Just
but I
for
am
that,
trying
my
to-
vote, Mickeyfan.
Okay. Wow.
I guess it's my turn then.
Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Unless going by 1st
Don't mind
name.
me. I'm just trying to modify the wheel here.
Very
Go ahead,
stealthily.
Jacob.
Okay, I guess I now need to determine who sucked less. Both were quite interesting. Both were interesting, to say the least. I mean, not much I can say. They were both interesting. I think as a whole, I mean, Disney has been known to create like these madcap wild rides like Tiki was imagining, but they also have a sense of cohesion, which if you go from like the bear slapping each other to being chased by dummies, it just kind of just like feels very out of place. I mean, and as a whole, I mean, but to be fair, I think he did put a bit more thought into it than Mickeyfan did, so I'm actually kind of torn. I mean, Mickeyfan just like kind of like said like basically went down basically just a standard kind of dark ride without really expanding too much on what he could do with the actual property other than like, oh, everything's giant. So I think in terms of like the argument, in terms of creativity, I think I'm actually going to go with Tiki for this.
All right, Sandy, it's all on you, buddy.
Well, I'll say this, okay? If either one of you would have just gone with the cliche making the Beanstalk Dark Ride route, you would have gotten my vote because it's a lot less insane than anything I just heard. I'm gonna go with Tiki because of creativity. I mean, with Mickeyfan, it's just pretty step by step, and then you die. So I agree.
I think you guys are giving Mickeyfan too much crap for the "you die" thing. It is a classic.
I didn't even mention that in mine.
I still voted for him.
I know.
Okay, so the point is here. I understand where you guys are coming from with the whole Charlie McCarthy thing. I agree that's kind of ridiculous, and I don't think that it makes very much sense. But it's still a pretty interesting idea, and I mean,
The idea that Mickey and the Beanstalk is just taunting you throughout the ride. Like
yeah,
it's just out of reach. Like you want to go on the Mickey and the Beanstalk ride, but you can't.
yeah. Anyways, given the opportunity that this was a really popular Disney film, I think people would understand it more, and this would make a whole lot more sense. So I'm going to go with Tiki.
Right.
You just have to explain to the kids who Charlie McCarthy is.
Yeah, right.
And like on half
Okay,
the printings,
you guys
I don't
ready
think
to,
the Charlie McCarthy section is even there. I think
He's a non-killer Slappy.
All right, you guys ready to spin the wheel?
oh, let's go.
Wheel of
Spin
Package
the
Films.
wheel.
Wheel of Package Films. Turn.
That was the lesson we should learn.
Yes.
Pink. Oh wait, no, I get it. Never mind. Delays on my end.
I'm getting delayed too.
Oh. Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Man, it's coming up my favorites at
boy.
the start of this thing, man. I'm liking it.
Mickeyfan, I'm going to go ahead and defer to you to go first, since I won the last one.
There isn't a ride based on Sleepy Hollow, is there?
There is not.
No, there's not.
I didn't think so.
Okay, so since Mr. Toad is ubiquitous as a dark ride, I'm going to go with something totally different and say Sleepy Hollow roller coaster, where you are being chased by the Headless Horseman, and it's just this really insane wild mouse. The car is designed to look like Ichabod's horse, and everywhere you look, it's going to be an indoor wild mouse. Everywhere you look, there's going to be this giant, threatening Headless Horseman who it feels like his only goal is you're going to die. That's going to be a theme, apparently. And
how much death, Mickeyfan?
Apparently a lot. So you're going through all these twists and turns, passing through trees and going up and down and over hills and over bridges and to Grandma's house, and you just can't escape the Headless Horseman, and a twist, you do make it out alive.
What a twist!
I would hope so.
Time.
Okay.
What would be interesting is
boy.
Tiki, do you mind zooming in a little?
Zooming in?
I mean, get rid of us on the side, Tiki. Just blow the thing up.
Okay, sorry. I didn't realize that was an issue. My bad.
What would be interesting for that is if you like they have photos at the end of the ride, if they just basically took those and removed your heads.
That's actually really creative. I like that.
All right. So let's see. So my pitch for an Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad ride would be an actual crossover. You start on the Mr. Toad ride vehicles, the classic, motor cars. You go through the English countryside until, oh my God, by the magic of Disney, you find yourself within the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And imagine a sequence where Mr. Toad and Ichabod Crane are being chased, side by side, Ichabod on his horse and Mr. Toad in his motor car by the Headless Horseman. And imagine kind of like Ichabod and Mr. Toad having this zany sort of like race to escape the Headless Horseman that you're caught up in the middle of. That's overall just my pitch. It'd be kind of like an e-ticket dark ride with some thrilling elements to it. I would imagine the ride vehicle itself would be an enhanced motion vehicle, so you'd be able to experience some of that Indiana Jones and dinosaur style movement and bucking and pitching. Nothing too intense, nothing that the kids can't go on. But the whole thing would just be like the interaction between Mr. Toad and Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman, these three literary titans kind of going up against each other. I think it'd make for a really interesting attraction and one that'd be out of left field, but still would be a home run, and one, considering the popularity of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, that I honestly don't think is too much out of the realm of possibility for actually happening. Right.
All right, so the thing I absolutely love about Ichabod and Mr. Toad is that the two sections match so perfectly because they're so opposed to each other. Sleepy Hollow is this super creepy horror story, and Mr. Toad is this wild and zany, almost Looney Tunes cartoon. And the movie works so well because they're so separate that they go together like chocolate and peanut butter. And I think that a crossover would would just not work between those two characters.
Right. I actually think that tonally the two films are very similar because while one is dark and scary in certain parts and one is a Looney Tune in certain parts, they also have very laid back elements to them throughout the majority of their runtimes. It's only like specific sequences that get scary or zany. So that's why I think the characters would complement each other. For yours, Mickeyfan, I just think that a roller coaster being a little too ambitious with it. I just can't envision a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff that you're talking about, like Ichabod riding and the Headless Horseman riding down as well. Like that's all stuff that just seems way too elaborate. And I don't know how the horse as the roller coaster car would work. All right. Let's go reverse alphabetical. Let's go, what?
Well, wait a minute. Doesn't.
Well, I was. It's the judge's time to talk now, right? Are we?
Oh yeah, he's talking about it's talking about like Sandy, me, like you, me.
Oh
then
yeah,
Dra-
I was wondering because Tiki started talking, then Dragon started talking. I'm just confused. I was just gonna pop in and say, Tiki, don't forget that coaster at Knott's.
Oh yeah, fair point. Fair point.
That's what I was thinking
Sandy.
of. But I really these were obviously a lot more practical and sane in the last round. I liked both of them. I liked Mickeyfan's more though. When he started describing it, it was all coming together in my head really kind of nicely. I think a coaster like Big Thunder Mountain, that's what I was picturing, except with dark red elements like the Headless Horseman. Like that's the thing, it could offer a lot of opportunity for some really cool and advanced animatronics, horse on animatronics, stuff like that. And I don't understand why you said it was too ambitious, or I think it sounded too ambitious. I mean, this is Disney we're talking about. I mean, it's not like they're building a whole park around it. It's just a roller coaster. So, I like yours a lot, Tiki. I just think that Mickeyfan had a really good point when he said that those two didn't really go together in a ride format as well as they do as kind of a feature, or two separate features side by side. And I just think that'd be a tough thing to sell to park goers. So my vote goes to Mickeyfan.
All right, Jacob.
Both of you honestly did raise good points. I mean, I do like the idea of a dark ride, but you have a dark ride. But I think in this case, making a roller coaster to actually be the more ambitious of the two projects, because Disney really doesn't have that many roller coasters in terms of they're definitely known for their dark rides and things, but not a lot for their coasters, like barring Space Mountain and like Thunder Mountain. Plus Sleepy Hollow, plus having a single cohesive experience in this case, like in the case of Sleepy Hollow, probably the more popular of those two stories. Would probably be a bigger draw, and basically when Mickeyfan put together would actually be a very thrilling and interesting ride. So I think I'm going to go for Mickeyfan with this one.
All right, Dragon, got any thoughts?
Mickeyfan.
All right. Okay, 1-1 there. All right, sounds good. Let's defer back to our wheel, which I need to reset really quick, guys. Give me 1 second. I think I know how to do this now. Just go ahead and X this out, and then click Apply Wheel Changes, and that should pop up a new wheel. All right, let's do it. Looks like we're getting
Saludos amigos.
Saludos amigos. All right. This is definitely the more out of left field one between the two South America ones. So let's see. Mickeyfan, you won that last round, so who gets to go first this time around?
I will go first.
You'll go first. Ooh. There's
Man of confidence. I love it.
All right. So my idea is for something very simple. It will be an aerial carousel spinner themed to Pedro. Just think Dumbo with airplanes, basically. And they all have these cute little faces on them, just like Pedro does, and all those characters. Each one of them is a different color, just like Dumbo. And it would just be a really charming, dynamic addition to a land themed to South America. And I think that Saludos Amigos isn't a huge property like the Three Caballeros is. So why not do something that's really little, really charming, and adds a lot of kinetic energy to its area, and be a great reference for the fans in the know who can point out it and say, "Oh, look, it's Pedro from Saludos Amigos." And yeah, time.
All right. So the most memorable part of Saludos Amigos is, in fact, the Aquarelles de Brazil sequence, the watercolor sequence. And because of that, I want a dark ride that focuses entirely on this sequence, and I want to go using the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway technology of basically transporting you into the world of an animated film using projection mapping technology. I want you to experience stepping into a watercolor painting. So each and every ride is going to be themed to a paint drop that's going into this painting. And we go into this painting, we see all the crazy transitions. We see bananas turning into the beaks of birds, and then the beaks of birds turning into ice cream sundaes. And then we see all kinds of crazy dancing, and it's all done in this vivid way, this vivid kind of projection mapping effect that really just puts us in this surrealized atmosphere and world. And it's a world that's unto ourselves. It's a world that we can just go and escape to, which is why I feel like the attraction would be very rewritable. And it's something that is calling to mind an experience like Adventure Through Inner Space with this realism. But while Adventure Through Inner Space plays with the science of it all, this one definitely plays with art and watercolor, and it'd be amazing. All right. Mickeyfan.
I knew that you were going to use this concept.
All right, well.
So, I honestly can't argue against this concept because I love this. But do you think you're going a little too weird and a little too surreal with it? You're talking about bird speaks turning into bananas and bananas turning into bird speaks, and about this insane dancing. And do you think you're going a little bit too artistic and a little bit too avant-garde with it all? That's all I got. Time.
All right. No, I don't, because I feel like, especially with an attraction like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that's kind of the proving ground for something like this. And with an attraction like that, man, you need to ride it 4, 5, 6 times to catch all the little details going on. And here it'd be kind of a similar thing where it's just this crazy, like you're stepping into this watercolor painting, and by doing so, there's so much to take in. There's so many details, and there's so many. Yes, there's going to be psychedelic transitions, but Disney's always had psychedelic transitions. Look at something like It's a Small World and tell me that that's not even a little bit psychedelic. I mean, I really think that this attraction and this concept sticks to the fundamentals of Imagineering. All right, I'm going to start with Jacob this time around.
I mean, this is definitely going to be an easy one to determine. Because I think in terms of like because basically Mickeyfan, yours was Dumbo with planes. So I can't really, and you didn't even really defend it that much in your own pitch and your own rebuttal either. So in terms of sheer concept and defense, I'm going to go with Tiki's.
All right, Dragon.
Well, first off, I'd like to read out some of the action we got going on in the comments from Pink Pearl, which is quite fun. Pink Pearl, of course, very big on both Saludos Amigos and Three Caballeros. So, of course, you can imagine that'd be kind of a plenty for her. So, too surreal. Have you seen Saludos Amigos? I love how passion she's getting. I love the passion. Oh, very, very funny. She's definitely feeling the Aquarela.
Aquarelis.
I'm just reading what she wrote here, but sure. I'll take your word. Point being, that part of it. I gotta tell you, I initially was on Mickeyfan's side with the whole, it's Dumbo, but it's Pedro, which basically it's the Dumbo ride with Pedro. It's like, okay, look, it's not a competition about who's like the most impressive. It's not about like, who's the most like flashy ride, but it's the most like, what's the best pitch for a ride? And it's like, okay, sticking with his guns. He's going simple with it. Tiki lays out all this. It comes back to him. I got nothing. So how can I not go with Tiki on this one? Come on.
All right, Ezra.
I don't really like Runaway Railway. I'm sorry. I just don't. It's not for me. I don't like all the screens.
I think you'd feel differently if you saw it in person.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's one that definitely does not work on video.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have to give it to Tiki because Mickeyfan lost me when he just said he couldn't really defend his anymore after Tiki's first rebuttal. But so the point's going to Tiki here. I guess either way, since my vote doesn't really count at this point. But I really wish that Mickeyfan would have really gone and just full force right at the end, just gave it everything he had.
All right, guys, our wheel's getting smaller and smaller. We've got 3 down, 3 to go.
I would love to see like a ride attraction.
Leading the wings for 1. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Yep. I was saying, like, I'd love to see somebody come with a ride based on the ending of Three Caballeros.
Oh, dear. Oh, well, maybe we'll get that. Let's see. Let's spin.
Oh, we have Claudia in the comments. Claude Goringa.
Claudia!
We love Claudia.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
The girl's gonna be pleased.
One.
The Three Caballeros.
Oh, boy. All right, so I won the last one. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to go ahead and go first. My pitch for Three Caballeros attraction is going to be called Hotel Panchito. And it's going to be whatever Blue Sky Park this lands in, it's going to be that park's version of the Tower of Terror. But instead of a terrifying drop tower ride, Hotel Panchito is going to be basically a fun free fall attraction with a lot of twists in store. There's going to be all kinds of different floors with different antics going on. On one floor, you might see Jose and Donald like competing over Carmen Miranda. On another floor, you might see like a surrealistic Bahia sequence. And basically each floor that opens up on this Tower of Terror style ride is randomized, so you never know what you're going to get each time you ride this attraction. The exterior is just going to be this giant, like, Spanish adobe tower. It's going to go about 90 feet tall, so it's not going to be quite as tall as a typical Tower of Terror attraction, but the scale's still going to be there. Of course, force perspective will help sell the illusion of it being a lot bigger than it is. And just overall, it's just going to be a treasure trove of different Three Caballeros Easter eggs mixed with just the thrills and the sights and sounds of a drop tower attraction. Hotel Panchito. That's all I got.
All right. My idea is basically a street show that is inspired by the Bahia sequence. It is the perfect material to take from for a very lovely little street show in an Adventureland or a South American themed land. And you just kind of have this, you come out in this pop-up book looking float that looks like it came out of the film, and it is a, you sing, you dance, you have Donald try and flirt with Aurora Miranda, not Carmen Miranda. And you just have just a really, really charming and lovely little side thing that isn't quite massive, but it's just a stop and smell the flowers kind of thing, which is what makes the Disney parks great in general. Time.
All right. So we have the Grand Fiesta Tour, which a lot of people argue is not as big of an attraction as the Caballeros deserve. And what you're saying is you want to downgrade that? You want to give the iconic character something that's not even up to snuff with the Grand Fiesta Tour? No, sir. I say let's upgrade these iconic characters from a boat to a hotel. And I think this would be a great stepping stone. I feel like kids could go on an attraction like this and kind of build themselves up to scarier rides like the Tower of Terror. And I just feel like with all the different floors and the queue and the hotel, just the Easter eggs and the references and just the zany humor of these characters would shine through. All right, Dragon.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I should get the point because Tiki tried to cheat.
Oh, we know he's a despicable person, but we need to give you your shot. Go on, take your shot.
All right. So I don't think that the Bahia show would be a downgrade. I think it would be better. I think it would be better than Grand Fiesta Tour because you're seeing the characters right there in person, and they're dancing and they're presenting their little Bahia show, and they're having fun, and they're involving the kids who can say, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing that Bahia show at Disneyland Brazil. I want to see that Three Caballeros movie that came from." So you're inspiring kids to not quite build up to Tower of Terror, but you're inspiring them to look back at Disney's history in a way.
All right.
You're the one with the
Dragon.
He's got it. He's that. All right. Tiki.
Yo.
Oh, you get the point, Tiki.
Oh, okay. Sandy.
Tiki. I just think I think for Disney, with their attractions, I think it's more important that I think Disney would just want to do something like more like what Tiki's idea here with one to build kids up to bigger rides instead of encouraging children to look at Disney history, because kids aren't going to do that if they're a Disney park. They're not going to be encouraged to go check out Disney history. At least all the kids I'm familiar with. And I know it's not something I'd be interested in. at a young age, so I'm gonna go with Tiki's.
All right, Jacob.
I mean, not that it matters, but honestly, I was gonna go with Mickeyfan for this one.
Okay.
Mainly because of the creativity of the page, and I was imagining it like a Disney-fied version of the Fiesta of like Mardi Gras,
Mhm.
That-
Or
that
like a
was
Black
actually what I
Love
was
or something.
like Mardi Gras, or like what's the Carnival?
Yeah.
That's
Same
all
right.
So, so I'm not gonna go into any more than that. But my vote would have been for Mickeyfan.
Okay, which means it's 3-1?
Well, no, right now isn't it 2 Tiki, 1 him, 1 Mickeyfan?
No, because Tiki won the last round too.
One him, Dragon. He has a name.
I know, because I'm directly talking to Tiki. Tiki knows who he is.
I think I won 3 and he won 1. Because we're down to 2.
Yeah, it's 3-1.
All right, 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And I must say the last ones are probably the 2 biggest wild cards in the bunch. So this combination that we've come up with on the home stretch.
Both
now, of
watered
course,
down.
Mickeyfan, the pin half. What?
I said both watered down Fantasias.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, let's do. Ability time. All right.
Yeah, we've gone blurry.
Deferred. Oh God. Okay, well it's melody time. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm sorry. It was working before. Anyways, it's melody time. Just reset the. God, and we don't have to use the wheel again because next time we'll just do make my music.
Yeah, unless you want to just do it for fun, but yeah, I think we're all good there. It's like, let's spin it just for fun. Let's see it go around. I wonder where it will land. Oh, wait.
Melody time.
God.
And I feel like Make Mine Music is like the biggest wild card out of all. Interesting.
Then it is.
Which one is Peter?
I'm going to go
the
first
Wolf?
on this one.
Okay.
Peter and the Wolf. That's a good question. I believe it's melody time.
It's Make Mine Music.
Oh, it is Make Mine Music? Okay. All right. So melody time. My pitch for melody time is going to be Pecos Bill's Western River Expedition. This is going to be a boat ride that takes homage from a bunch of Disney attractions, including Pirates of the Caribbean, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and of course, Western River Expedition, the attraction that Mark Davis conceived that never got built. Now, the basic conceit of this attraction is that you start out and you're in the Blue Bayou, but not just any Blue Bayou, not the Blue Bayou from Pirates of the Caribbean. You're starting out specifically in the Blue Bayou from the Blue Bayou sequence from Melody Time, and you're floating along, and you see an animatronic Pecos Bill, much like in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's sitting at a log cabin, he's strumming on a banjo, and he's telling you about the good old days, and he's very wistful about it. And then next thing you know, you go down a drop, and boom, you're in a Wild West frontier boomtown. A bunch of animatronic cartoon characters, a bunch of chaos. You see in the grand finale, Pecos Bill lassoing a volcano, or a volcano, I'm sorry, a tornado, not volcano, tornado. He's lassoing the tornado. That's what makes him legendary. Basically, you go through this whole ride and you see all sorts of Pecos Bill's exploits. You go up the lift hill and back into the station where we're back in the Blue Bayou. The whole thing connects two of the more iconic pieces of Melody Time into one ultimate homage to Disney Imagineering.
And you can't lasso a volcano unless it's Hercules.
Volcano, tornado, very similar sounding words. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying
Yes.
Hercules. He lassoed a volcano guy with a tornado guy. So that's what.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, Mickeyfan, take it away.
All right. Where Tiki went big, I'm going small. I want to see a Once Upon a Wintertime mini show where the two main characters are just they come in on their little horse-drawn carriage and they skate around for a bit. They have some they have some fun. They have some really cute moments, and then they leave. I want charming. I want cute. I want everything. Everything that you think of when you think of that segment. Just how genuinely sweet and adorable and lovely it is. I want to put that, and I want to take that entire segment, smush it into 5-10 minutes max, and just let it out. It's a bit of a cross between straight show and streetmosphere, and just give me all that charm that Melody Time is definitely full of, and do something different and unique with the idea over Pick or Spill.
Time. Okay. Well, I think my idea is just brimming and overflowing with unique attributes just because it's combining a bunch of these different Imagineering things into one attraction. Specifically, it's a love letter to Mark Davis, man. It's a love letter to that era of animation and that era of Imagineering and coming together in this really passionate, in this really passionate, very, very ambitious attraction that I feel like, much like how something like Radiator Springs Racers, Cars isn't the attraction that blew up the world or anything like that. It was a hit with kids, but this could be a similar thing. Kids could discover Pecos Bill and discover the this whole era through this ride, and they'd, because of the serialized nature of it, they'd want more.
Okay, well, what I'm getting from your pitch is Pirates of the Caribbean crossed with a beat-for-beat retelling of Pecos Bill, with some Mark Davis tributes in there, and I just it's a bit too much for me. I'd rather see something very small, very simple, very very tight, and very charming that, again, you can walk up, watch for a while, and then get on with the rest of your day. Stop and smell the roses. And I'd much rather see that out of Melody Time than some big e-ticket attraction.
All right, Sandy.
I'm gonna go with Mickeyfan on this because I agree. I agree that because Melody Times it's not a huge property. I think something as big as Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that, that'd be a little. I think it's one of those perfect opportunities where you have a bunch of really interesting characters, and you could bring it all together in something really nice and charming that sit and watch for a while, cool off, and then move on with the rest of their day. I like that idea a lot. So, and for me,
All right, Jacob.
This is tough. It's like hot and cold. Fire and ice, two different ends of the same spectrum, but both from the same property.
Literally. Since Tiki wants a volcano in his.
Yes. As I said in YouTube, lasting a volcano would definitely be impressive.
And give a new meaning to the word rope burn.
Yeah, I also said that.
Yes, you did.
Yes, so I mean, as much as I'm all for the wild bombastic rides, I think Mickey Finn perfectly captured sometimes you just need the smaller and it'd be nice to smaller, more intimate kind of dark ride and experience. Well, that's not it's not gonna tread any new ground, but I think sometimes you need that kind of stuff. It'd be a good distraction too from the heat of the day and all that. So I think I'll actually go with Mickey Fan on this one.
All right. So that brings us to.
Wait, we're not gonna hear from Dragon?
No, I don't matter apparently. So we can.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm sorry.
Well, for what it's worth, Mickey Fan, your concept seems really nice. I do like it personally, but I gotta tell you, I was really intrigued by Tiki's one. Like, if you're gonna do Pecos Bill, it sounds like he's doing Pecos Bill right, man. It's like, oh man, taking it to the old West. It's kind of like a fun little adventure. That's basically, I think he did the better version of your pitch from, I believe, a round or so ago, with basically kind of like trying to educate the children in a way about Pecos Bill, but you get a little bit more out of the experience. That's why I feel Tiki. That's why Tiki gets my point. Not sure how much it counts. That's why Tiki gets my point.
Well, thank you, Dragon. Thank you. All right. So Mickey Fan has 3. I have 2. That leads us right up to...
you have 3. He has 2.
Well, this is just sad. We throw numbers out the window at this point.
All right, fine. I'm sorry. I have 2. Mickey Fan has 2. I have 3. All right, God. I'm sorry. Fun and Fancy Free. Fun and Fancy Free is the last one. Mickey Fan, who goes first?
Wait, hold on. Guys.
We
only have one left.
Fancy Free, is it?
No,
oh God,
it's
we only have one.
Time. Wait.
Okay.
Is it Make Mine Music?
Make Mine Music.
Sorry.
This goes to show. No, you don't have to apologize. I'm the one who's messing up here. This goes to show how these films kind of run together. All right, Make Mine Music. Make Mine Music is the last one. All right, Mickey Fan, who goes first?
You can go first.
Okay. So Disney, with these trackless dark rides, they love to kind of like push out these scenes where it's like, oh, look, now we're in a dance studio and we're dancing. So basically, my idea for a Make Mine Music ride would be somewhere in between a trackless dark ride and a flat ride, where essentially what we'd be doing is we'd be going into 3 different rooms, and each one of these 3 rooms would be themed around a different segment from Make Mine Music. So you'd have Peter and the Wolf in one room, and then the tree short in another room, and then maybe the whale who could sing opera in another room. And essentially what you would do is you just go through in these trackless dark ride vehicles, and you just kind of like dance the dance that the music is playing in each individual ride segment. So with Peter and the Wolf, you'd go through and you'd kind of like do 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 do. You get the point. And the ride vehicles will kind of like dance along in succession to that. It doesn't have to be too elaborate. This certainly isn't an e-ticket. Like I said, this is barely even a dark ride. This is more of an elaborate flat ride. It's kind of like Mater's Junkyard Jamboree on a grand scale or something like that. So that's the way I'm envisioning it. So yeah, that's overall my pitch for Melody Time. Kind of taking a flat ride in the vein of something like the Luigi ride is what I was referring to with the Cars Land ride. And something in the vein of like, yes, a run, and combine them together into something very simple but very charming. All right.
All right. I'm going to do something totally out of the box, but super obvious, and all the cats join in burger joint. You know, you just have this great throwback joint. You have the cast members all dressed up like the teens in the movie. They're every half hour or so there could be a dance number where all the cast members do the dance to the song, and just kind of a cheesy, corny, but really fun and different experience that the parks never really done before, but it's one that fits the IP like a glove. and I just think I just think it would really work. Time.
There's a lot of things wrong with your pitch, Mickeyfan, honestly. First of all, the short you're pitching is one of the least memorable from this feature film. Secondly, I just feel like the whole idea of like a diner, like a 50s diner, that's been done before with places like Mel's Diner and even something like the 50s Primetime Cafe. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but that same kind of aesthetic. Because thirdly, I just think that getting people every half hour to just do crazy things, like, yeah, you could do it in something like Trader Sam's, but Trader Sam's usually has 2 people, maybe 3 at the most on the wait staff. We're talking a full service restaurant. That's a lot of people to get to coordinate this crazy show you want to put on.
Well, mine at least goes a little bit more out of the box than basically the Luigi Flat Ride plus with the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway tech. I think that mine at the very least has something that, you know, aesthetically Disney has done before, but they've never executed in this way before. I don't think that the little dance number is really all that elaborate. I think it's, you know, shoulder shimmy and kick. I think that should not be hard to do with any wait staff, and you know what? It adds something different.
All right. Oh boy. I'm going to defer to you guys. Who wants to go first here?
Well, you have to defer to us, Tiki. You can't make the ruling.
Well, I've been deferring to who goes first, second, and third this whole time. So, but I want a spontaneous reaction here.
Well, Tiki, I'll say this, and I'm just talking out loud here. And you are really into trackless dark rides. Like this is the second time. This is the second time this entire debate you brought it up, and plus the Fantasia one last time. I'm looking for some more creativity, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with Mickeyfan.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. Just I feel like
no, you don't have to apologize, Ezra. I get it. It's fine.
Like a broken record at this point.
It's all good. Duly noted. I will do less trackless dark rides in the future. I hear you. I was trying to do something a little different with combining the trackless dark ride with a flat ride, but all right. Who's next?
Dragon.
Well, you go, Jacob.
Both of them were pretty interesting in terms of their creativity. I mean, I kind of like the idea of Mickey fans with the whole like dinner, like making it more like based off a diner and all of that. I mean, I can't really say much of how they're in favor to the movie itself, because I haven't actually seen the movie. I think this is one of the ones that isn't on Disney Plus, so I don't think I even can watch it, unless I'm thinking of Melody Time in that. But either way, I think in terms of everything, I mean, I'm honestly more interested in seeing Mickey fans come to fruition. Honestly,
I'll say one more little thing here. With all of, or I guess most of Mickey fan stuff, at least this and his past option for the last round was you see him more focused on just comfort and, you know, family, like Disney wholesomeness, where Tiki's much more like bombastic and like big operatic, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean, big trackless dark ride, watercolor show stuff. And I think the Disney parks already have enough of that kind of stuff, and they could definitely use a little more of the, I guess, comfort as far as in the parks, you know, comfort, nice place to eat.
Stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate
Gotcha.
that, man.
All right, well, guys, it seems like we have a tie. But go ahead, Dragon. What's your opinion?
Okay, well, my insignificant opinion on this one.
Dragon blew in the dirt. I'm sorry, Dragon.
Anyway, I was honestly, I like that Tiki's represented the package film a little bit more, but I gotta tell you though, Mickeyfan, outside of the wholesomeness, which I was already kind of won over by, at the end of the day, Mickeyfan just knew exactly what his pitch was. He just had it so nailed down. He had it figured out. He stood up to Tiki. Once Tiki tried to tear him down, I thought, okay, that's it for Mickeyfan. Someone buy the flowers for the funeral. He's toast. He's done for. But no, man, Mickeyfan stood his ground like, yes, this can work. I mean, do I think it should work? Probably not, but he sold me on it, so Mickeyfan gets my point. So clean sweep for Mickeyfan. And we're at a tie. And Tiki, what do we do when we have a tie?
Well, we're going to do one more wheel. Now, these films, Dragon, these films are pretty damn obscure all the way through and through, and they don't count in the official Walt Disney feature animation canon. However, we're going to go through them because they do feature, all of them do feature Walt Disney Studios animation. So we're going to talk, we're going to just randomize, and we're going to do The Reluctant Dragon or Song of the South or Victory Through Air Power. Three very obscure films. Of course, Song of the South, probably the most well-known of them, followed by Reluctant Dragon. Reluctant Dragon's known enough. That's on Disney+. Victory Through Air Power, very unknown propaganda film, only been released in a few places, most notably the Walt Disney Treasures on the Frontlines DVD with Leonard the Malt Moulton.
The Malt!
So, the Malt! Yes, that's right. That's right.
The only reason I know about Victory Through Air Power is because there was a Bugs Bunny show, there was a parody of its title.
Leonard Moulton! Sorry, go on.
All right, so let's randomize and see which one's going to break the tie here. All right, The Reluctant Dragon. Mickeyfan, you familiar with The Reluctant Dragon?
Vaguely.
Okay, well, you're going to get to break the tie, sir. Well, what I mean by break the tie, I'm sorry, that was bad wording. You get to like who goes first.
You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So with The Reluctant Dragon, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch a revival of Journey into Imagination featuring The Reluctant Dragon and Figment. I think they would both go together really well. And they both would be exploring, instead of imagination, they'd be exploring the art of Disney animation in its own right. Now, throughout this whole adventure, Figment and The Reluctant Dragon would both be taking you through, different elements of the Disney studio and the process behind making animated films. So we get taken to the sound room, and we'd see how sound gets created on Disney films. Then we'd be taken to the color room. And it'd be just a very humble, almost museum-esque Disney dark ride. I'm not asking for anything too elaborate here. It'd be almost kind of a, in terms of technology and everything, we'd still have a bunch of cool stuff on display. But it'd be through the lens of going through a classic interpretation, a classic cartoon interpretation of the actual Walt Disney Animation Studio. And, seeing the ink and paint department, seeing the sound studio, seeing the actual, and then through that, we also get the charming interaction between The Reluctant Dragon and Figment. And I feel like that would be a great revitalization of Journey into Imagination. And I feel like The Reluctant Dragon is a character that is obscure, but people know about. And I feel like if he was in a Disney attraction, people would want him on shirts and stuff. Marketability. All right. Ooh boy, Mickeyfan.
I'm here, I'm thinking. All right. You know what I want to see? I want to see a recreation of the classic Walt Disney Studios as depicted in The Reluctant Dragon. The entire thing was basically Walt Disney filming a tour of his studio, and I want to see that recreated, not quite one-to-one, but as accurate as you can possibly make it, and take people into this
on the show.
into this era of history.
I'm on a show.
And see the Ink and Pink department, see the sound recording, and not quite having to tie in a very much beloved character, but still tying in a character that otherwise has nothing to do with it, but that just give me this grand recreation of the classic studio, and let me see how it worked back in the 40s and 50s when they were working on these iconic, amazing films. Time.
Goodbye to Pink Pearl, by the way. You had to go, but we appreciate having her here.
Yeah. And it is the obvious thing to do a tour through a Reluctant Dragon ride, but my idea, I feel like, has a lot more originality behind it, just because you're being put into a cartoon interpretation of the Disney Studios in the guise of a Fantasyland dark ride, whereas you basically are pitching a museum exhibit, a rather interesting museum exhibit, but I don't necessarily feel like it's an attraction. Mine would definitely be an attraction, and I don't think that Figment being involved would be like selling out or anything like that. I actually think Figment would be a selling point, but he'd also just fit in naturally. Imagination is bred through these stories, and these stories breed imagination.
Yeah, but your logic in using Figment is the same as the people. Your logic in using Figment is the same as people saying to include Figment in an Inside Out thing to redo of imagination. You're putting a very much beloved character into a place where he frankly doesn't belong. My idea is just this very simple museum exhibit, like you said, but it's a very, very interesting and it's a very, very cool museum exhibit where you can collaborate with the Disney archives, and you can even collaborate with the people who were working back then at the studio, to give stories and give backstory to all these specific areas. And I think that would just be a really interesting Stop and Smell the Roses thing.
How you feeling?
Let's let Dragon go first this time.
Well, Mickeyfan, if I hear Stop and Smell the Roses one more time, I'm gonna. I'm kidding. Just be on point on that one, all right? You can only use the Stop and Smell the Roses so many times before those roses start to stink to high heaven, my friend. Anyway, getting back on point. Honestly, again, both I'm very sold on just this attraction period for both of you. Problem is a little too similar on both sides, if I'm being frank. I'm hearing pretty much the same attraction here, only one's a dark ride. And apparently a little bit of a tie-in with Tiki's, and I think that's basically Mickeyfan didn't have much of a rebuttal. I think that hurt him, in my opinion. Again, he don't get upset about it, man. It's all right. It's just the game.
That was me actually got something on my computer.
I know, I'm kidding. Sorry, bad. Never mind. My point is, guys, excellent idea, Mickeyfan. I liked your rebuttal. I wasn't crazy about your rebuttal, but I did like your follow through and that you tried how you defended yours. By the same token, I don't think it saved you. So, in my opinion, Tiki gets the point.
All right, Jacob, what do you feel?
To keep things brief, I agree with Dragon. Tiki gets the point.
Okay, Ezra, did I live up to your expectations?
Well, I'm just confused on how this relates to the Reluctant Dragon. I mean, I heard you mention the Reluctant Dragon once, but Mickeyfan never mentioned him at all, I don't think. I'm just confused.
Well, I mean, the Reluctant Dragon is like the movie itself is a tour of the studio, so we both did studio tours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've never seen it before, so I'm sorry, Jacob. Who'd you vote for?
Tiki.
Okay, well then, yeah, Tiki, obviously you're getting
Okay.
it, so.
All
I do like
All right,
Mickey
well-
fans a little bit more, though. I'm just for the record.
right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks to Claude, Karinga, Pink Pearl, and Monkey for joining us in the comments. This has been a lot of fun. Stay safe, guys. For God's sakes, don't touch your goddamn face. And we will be back again. The next one's going to be big. Sandy, you might want to play in the next one because it's going to be Cinderella, Peter Pan, and one of your personal favorites, Alice in Wonderland. You get to pitch an Alice in Wonderland attraction if you play in the next one.
Okay.
But of course, you'd also have to deal with the dreaded return of the Wheel of Fox.
Okay.
Is it worth the risk, Sandy? Ooh. All right. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching and joining. Stay safe out there. Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Thanks
night.
for playing.
Mwah. Good night, everybody.
Wash your damn hands.